Yeah, again, thank you for being willing to share your story with us. What kind of cancer do you have?
I have pancreatic cancer. Is the big one, the one that's really big.
So you have a few kinds?
Yeah, I have a kidney cancer that they can't even really touch right now because the pancreatic is just taking precedence over everything. So kidney one's just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
Pancreatic cancer's been all the treatments, everything I've had as far as treatments has been geared towards that.
Okay. When did you get the diagnosis?
November 4th, 2014.
And is cancer something that runs in your family, or was it a complete shock to you?
Yes and yes.
Yeah.
There's colon cancer and breast cancer, and liver cancer in my family, lung cancer.
Right. But it's not the kind of news that anyone ever expects to hear.
I've been healthy all my life.
Yeah.
I had heartburn. That's all it was.
Yeah. 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 What were you thinking when doctors told you that it was?
I'll be honest with you. It just this has happened a couple of times when I hear bad news, and it's been kind of a consistent thing. Like good news, bad news. The bad news thing always just kind of floats over me a little bit.
Okay.
And then I just I don't really hear it right away, and then it just doesn't really set in, and then over time it just okay. All right, let's go. What are we gonna do?
Yeah. So was there a moment that it set in, or you just slowly got used to it?
It's been a process.
Yeah.
It really has. It's been like they didn't give me like a diagnosis on the spot.
Okay.
They told me I had a tumor in my kidney and a blockage in my intestine. I didn't find out it was cancer until after the surgery, which was November. So the CAT scan was November 4th. The surgery was the 21st. So I spent time at Lowell General. They knew they couldn't do anything for me. Transferred me to Boston. They did a bunch of tests, and then I had the surgery. It was an 8-hour surgery on the Whipple.
Yeah.
And they didn't say the word cancer until my first follow-up visit with the surgeon afterwards. And that was one of those moments. Like, she said cancer, and like, right over my head. I mean, not over my head, but to the point where it just got kind of numb.
Sure.
Didn't comprehend it as well as I would have liked to.
Yeah, and that's something that you've experienced once or twice before with bad news.
Yeah, a few times. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's the perfect opportunity for me to be asking questions, and I just kind of I don't know what to say. I just kind of go. So that's the first time the surgeon said, you should come back with a family member, which I've been pretty good about doing. Every time I know there's something to be discussed, another big deal.
Yeah. So what family members were going with you?
I've had so much support.
Yeah.
My wife's been with me. I have a very, very good friend, Debbie. She's a breast cancer survivor. My ex-wife has been with me. My brothers, my sisters, my son. I mean, at various times. Yeah, at various times, between Boston and Lowell. I got all the cancer treatment in Lowell. So my last chemotherapy treatment, I had my ex-wife and my son there. And that didn't go too well. That will be my final chemo treatment. I'll come back with it.
Right. So chemo in Lowell, and what Boston hospital did you go to?
I was at that visit.
And what did they do for you there?
Originally, they did all the diagnostic stuff there, and then, tons of stuff. I couldn't even remember half of it, to be honest with you. But the liver procedure was done there on the 21st.
And that was November 2014?
Yeah, that was the big one. That was an 8-hour surgery, which, I don't know if you know anything about a Whipple. They removed the head of my pancreas, gallbladder, part of my intestine, I think part of my bile duct too. But it went well. I mean, I progressed very rapidly after the surgery, but there's no cure for it.
Right.
Eventually, it's going to come back in some way or form. So they just found it in the lymph nodes, and that's why they wanted to do the chemo again. And I was on the fence about it in the first place, and then when I had immediate effects, I didn't even finish the treatment, and it just became very apparent. And we had talked about it.
Yeah.
Before
we get into that process, I'd love to learn a little more about the two of you guys.
Oh, this is the best part.
Yeah.
This is the best part.
He would love to tell you that.
Yes.
I can tell the story well.
Please do.
Are you ready? This is a lovely story.
Yeah.
like I say, I grew up in Lowell my whole life.
Mhm.
She's been in Salem almost her whole life. We both got our first marriage right around the same time. My marriage lasted close to 20 years. Hers not so much. So her friends and family know her as, a single mom. That was her son that just left
That's
her.
my son, I'm
okay.
sorry.
And-
Yeah. What's his name?
Joshua.
And how old is he?
It's just turned 25.
So she kind of dedicated her life to just raising a young man, and didn't go back into the dating scene, and until he got older, and then she gave it a shot.
Mhm.
She gave it a shot, and didn't work out for her. And at the same time, after my marriage failed, I went into a relationship that wasn't what I wanted. I knew it from the beginning. So there was a point in time when both of us precisely at the same time said, I've had enough. I've had enough. I had enough of living in Lowell all my life. I know everybody in Lowell. That's the thing. And no matter where I went, there was a common connection between, especially going back into the dating scene. There's always, whoever you meet knows somebody that I know.
So kind of a mutual friend or something.
Or they know me right away.
Yeah.
And it wasn't working. So I needed to do something different. So I just had a moment where I said, I'm going to try a dating website. Let's see what happens. What do I have to lose? She did the same thing at the exact same time. So to summarize, and that's the big thing here. There's so much to this. I tried to write the story. Did I tell you this? I tried to write the story for We Met on Match.com.
You told me that part.
I tried to write this story, but I can't make it less than 5 pages. I've tried so many times. I have it all in there, and I mean, you're welcome to have it. And I looked at it and said, nobody's going to read all this. There's just too much. There's so many little things that are so important to us, that have to be told. Other than that, I could summarize it. So anyway, I'll do the best I can with that.
Yeah.
She contacted me first, and
A few times.
well, let me just say this. We're both outside our norm as far as, I can never say this word, ethnicity.
You said it right. You said it right.
Very hard word. Both of us.
Okay.
She's never been outside hers. I've never been outside mine. So this is completely new. So when we met, there's all these apprehensions about, okay, what do I like to eat? What do I like to do? What are my holiday customs? Everything like that, and it was everything. It was all, and the funny thing is, we're so different in so many ways, But our first date, we spent 4 hours at Starbucks.
Oh wow! So it was at Starbucks.
And we spent the whole 4 hours before we even realized it was 4 hours. So she said it
5
first.
minutes before.
5 minutes before. Okay. There again, there's so much to this story. This was right at the same time that the whole market basket fiasco was going on.
Okay.
So I'm a single guy. I was so used to going to Hannaford's and getting the things that I need for the week to bring to work and everything. And I'm the red basket guy that goes in there. I can be in and out of there in 30 seconds. If I'm anything more than that, I'm taking too long somewhere. So long story short, everybody had boycotted the market baskets. So the Hannaford's just got swamped. And I know I needed to go there before our first date. So I got stuck in the store with the crowds and the checkouts and everything. So I called her. I says, I'm going to be about 20 minutes late. And I'm always 20 minutes early. Always.
Me too.
And if I would have been any later than that, we wouldn't be sitting.
Oh, wow.
I told myself, I said, if he's 5 more minutes late, like after 20, I'm going to wait 20.
She was nervous enough to begin with.
Benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But if he's not here in 5 more minutes, I'm going to leave. I don't like to wait for no one, no matter who. So he was there in the parking lot. Exactly the time that he said. Yep.
So she made me squirm though. I went in, and she wasn't in there. So there was one
So
lady that was
watching
arguing
you.
with the, what do you call the coffee?
Barista.
Barista. I knew there was a
Yeah,
word.
yeah.
There was one lady, and I knew it wasn't her. And I hope it's not her. And so I had my phone. Sorry, I had my phone. Actually, at the time, it was a flip phone. By the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was just about to call her, and I'm looking down at my phone, and I got to the door, and she walks in, and we came face to face. That was the first moment that I knew, as tense as I was about, okay, I'm late, it's hot, it's it's a first date. When she was standing right in front of me, like all the all that went away.
Yeah.
You know, she just had this nice smile, you know, and I'm like, okay, I'm
You
glad
weren't
I
that
came.
nervous anymore.
Right away.
No,
It was
no.
amazing. I'm
For neither
glad
of
I
us.
came.
Yeah.
Neither of us.
What kind of drinks did you guys get? Do you remember?
Yeah, I had a nice coffee. I've never been to a Starbucks, so
Right, that was
I
the
didn't
first
know how to
time.
order it. Yeah, but
I
it was
always
some kind of
did
iced
it.
coffee.
Yeah, I always get a latte.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when was this your first date?
That was, I know, it was August
We know.
24th, 2014
14.
at
So that
2:20 p.m.
At 2:20.
So the funny thing is, a year later, I sent, she's at work, I sent her a text at exactly 2:20.
Oh,
I said, at exactly this time, I know where I was, you know?
Yeah.
So, of course, the story behind it. One of the things I definitely have to mention is, we're sitting there, because she's from the area, and all these people keep
Yeah, was
coming
it a
in.
Starbucks in Salem?
In Salem.
Right in downtown.
There's only one in
Okay.
Salem, you know.
Yeah, everybody that came in knew her. Rosie, hi, how you doing? They're hugging her, you know, like long lost friends. I mean, like they hadn't seen her in 10 years, you know.
Mhm.
So after like the fifth or sixth one, of course we're there for 4 hours, so there were so many, you know. Finally I say to them, like who are these people? You know, everybody seems to love you. Who are all these people? And she just laughs. She says, I work for a medical practice. These are our patients that come in there, you know. So I'm like, okay, big points there, you know. Everybody seems to like her, love her. You know, I'm like, okay, you know, I can see where this is going.
Yeah.
And then just the conversation, it just never stopped. There was
Yeah.
never that moment where both of us just stopped and looked at each
Bored
other.
of it.
Yeah, I like ran out of things to say, and then you get into that uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It never happened.
You guys just clicked.
Right away.
Yeah. What was it about the other that made you interested?
I was more physically attracted to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
The looks got
The
you.
look.
Yeah.
I really liked him. And then it was so easy to talk to him, and the whole time he looked very sincere.
Mhm.
Like, you know, it was something about the way he was looking, his eyes, everything that made me feel comfortable. Like,
Yeah.
this is not a weird guy.
Right, because you have
coming from Lowell.
apprehensions, you know, dating
Exactly.
someone from
Exactly.
that. Right.
And you just never know.
Yeah.
So
There's one-
nowadays you don't know.
There's one thing that we're both very good at, and we talk about this all the time,
Yeah.
is when you meet somebody, you know, body language, eye contact,
Yeah,
all
I
that
think
stuff. And we just sat there like this the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, face to face, you know, there was never that, you know.
Oh, looking someplace
You know what I'm
else, like you
saying?
can't wait to get
yeah,
over there.
Yeah, so, yeah, there's something to be said about that.
Yeah. And what did you like about Rosie?
First thing, smile right away, and that's like it was right here. That was the very first act. I mean, I saw her smile before I even saw her face. You
Yeah.
know, and from that point on, it's just like you know, I had been in a bad relationship. I knew that no matter what, I needed somebody that was exactly like her. Exactly, you know, nothing gets her, nothing. You know, everything we've been through, you know, she's like a rock. I don't, you know, she never gets. We've never had a fight. You know.
Oh,
No,
really?
I'm not kidding.
No.
I'm not
And
kidding.
seriously,
You know,
2
and
years.
I've picked a
2
few.
years.
And
Yeah.
she won't fight me.
You tried. but
Yeah,
no.
yeah, we're two different people. She's very, very calm, collected. You know, everything is okay.
So this is a
If-
solution for it.
Right,
You know?
right. You know, I'm a little bit more shit.
Yeah.
This just happened. Oh, come on. You know?
Yeah.
And she'll just like talk me down. Like, okay, it's not a big deal. You know, not a big deal. You know, last week was a tough week. You know, my AC went in my Jeep. It was bad timing. I was going to a funeral that morning, and it was raining outside, and it was hot and humid. And, you
All
know,
the bad things coming down.
yeah, it was my actually my ex-wife's grandmother, but it's my grandmother.
Yeah.
You know, and here I am going, okay, I got to take my Jeep to Lowell, and you know, she said, don't worry about it, we'll get it fixed. Okay, all right. So she can talk to me like that, and I listen.
Yeah. Yeah, that must be helpful to have someone who can calm you down when you're getting a little stressed out.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and you know that's going on a dating website. I had a certain criteria that I knew had to be met, you know, and I was going to be very, very particular about that. I'd gone on a couple dates before her, and I knew right away. I mean, almost immediately. Okay, next, you know, it was like 3. When I met her, it's like, okay, you know, I want to see where this is going.
Yeah.
You know, so we planned our second date right away.
Okay.
And we did it again. Yeah, we went to first of all, we went to okay. I told her I want to take her to a nice restaurant, somewhere around here. I don't know this area at all, or didn't at the time. So I asked her, I said, what's good? And she says, you pick it. And I said, well, how will I know? And she says, I'll tell you. So I picked one of her favorite restaurants. I just
Oh, wow.
got lucky.
What was it?
Captain's. It's changed hands.
They
now.
changed the name, and I really don't know the name now.
Yeah,
but it
something else.
was the captain. at the Pekin Award Français.